Hey everybody, this is Lewis. Lewis Speaks 2019, and I want to talk to you today about relationships. Being in a relationship these days is equated to being successful. If you are in a relationship and you post that on Facebook, you get a barrage of congratulations, a barrage of people telling you, oh, that's amazing. You get all these congratulatory gestures thrown your way. But if you're single, you get pitied. People look at you as though you are a sad story, as though you are unlovable, and you become a social leper to some. Being single these days is something that's demonized and vilified, and oftentimes subject to much scrutiny and ridicule. And for me, being in a relationship is not a badge of honor. It's not a symbol of a successful life. If anything, being in a relationship just means that you allowed yourself to be a doormat and you allowed yourself to basically tolerate so many infidelities. If you talk to the couples nowadays, you will find out that they've just turned a blind eye to so many different indiscretions. You know? So, what I ask people now who are in a relationship, how many infidelities did you have to turn a blind eye to? How much nonsense did you have to swallow and tolerate just to say, I have someone in my life? I'm loved. How many people did that person sleep with outside of the relationship? And how many times did you just pretend you didn't notice that just to keep and sustain a relationship? Those are the questions that I ask. And a lot of times, when you listen to the responses, people will oftentimes say, well, no one's perfect. You have to definitely work on love and you have to learn how to forgive, and relationships are about forgiveness. And yes, they are, but they are not about disrespect. And these days, I see so many people in relationships tolerating disrespect just to say that they have somebody. I've been in relationships before with many different people, and I realized that there came a moment where I had to decide, do I want to continue on in this relationship and be disrespected? Or do I want to love myself and be single? Hmm, hmm, hmm. I want to love myself and be single because I'd rather be single with my self respect than be connected and partnered with somebody who keeps on disrespecting me, who keeps on violating me. I don't see relationships the same in 2019 and even going beyond that. Right now I see relationships as people clinging on to a sinking ship because they're afraid of dying alone. People aren't even with the people that they want to be with. They're just with the people that are in their close proximity, the people that will, I guess, agree to be with them. They don't want to be with these people. Half of these people in relationships nowadays do not want to be with their partner. If something else better came along, they would just grab it up in a heartbeat. But they choose to be in these relationships because they don't want to be alone. They are scared of dying alone, especially gay men. Gay men operate with this fear, this internal fear of dying alone. They think that they won't find any partner. So they just tolerate anybody, and they agree to open relationships. They agree to these polyamorous relationships with a bevy of different partners, you know? And what ends up happening, at least what I've noticed, is that they oftentimes lose respect for their partners. Gradually, as the years go by, they lose respect. Because how can you respect somebody that sat up there and gave your passion away? The same things and the same moans that they're doing with you, they're doing with that person. So is this special? No, it's not special. Sex is intended to be a spiritual experience as well as a physical experience. But oftentimes people forego the spirit and just go for the physical. And what ends up happening is the spirit ends up zapped, depleted. You know? I think most gay men are in spiritual crisis, if you want to know the truth, because they give their passion. their bodies, their investment to everybody, you know? And what they're doing is they're trading spirits, they're trading energies. And if you're sleeping with somebody who has a poor, toxic energy, chances are you're going to absorb that. A lot of times you wonder why. I've been with partners and I wonder why is this person depressed? Why is this person this? Why is this person that? It's because they slept with somebody outside of the relationship and they traded energies with somebody who was no good for them. You know? These energetic cords, you know, that we all have as human beings, basically, or as spirit beings, better yet, enjoying a human experience, we have these energetic cords. And when we connect with other people, somehow these cords are affected. These cords influence our feelings, our moods, and we don't always understand that initially. Initially, sometimes it's just about busting in a nut. But in the long run, we start to realize a lot. And I really can't get with relationships now because I've noticed that there's a lot of infidelity, there's a lot of emotional cheating, there's a lot of physical cheating. You know, there are people that are cheating on their partners by not giving them enough time, attention, by not giving them enough love. And you think that just because you haven't put your member in another person or you have opened your box to another person that you're not cheating. No, sometimes cheating is about not taking care of your partner, not honoring your partner, not doing those things that you once did to get your partner. So that's cheating. You're cheating the relationship out of you. So to me, being single is where it's at. You know, and while sometimes, truth be told, it does get lonely. It gets lonely, it gets hard to deal with sometimes, but then you have moments where you can get up, you can go without having to tell your partner anything, without having them tell you not to go, without the emotional guilt trips and obligatory nonsense. You could just go. Being single has so many benefits. And while there are some drawbacks to everything, I feel that being single right now, especially in this day and age, is necessary. So I would encourage people, if you can, definitely be single and stop seeing singleness as something to be pitied and relationships as something to be revered and prized and honored and seen as a symbol of success. Because just because you're in a relationship don't mean that you're a success as a person. It just means that you happen to be in a relationship. And for some, it means that you just swallow a lot of bullshit just to say that you're loved. So this is not to be admired. If anything, being in a relationship these days is to be pitied. So I wish that we would definitely, as a people, begin to redefine and change the definition of how we see being single, because it's no longer a sentence. It's, if anything, it's a badge of honor and it's a symbol of courage to be able to sit with yourself and find constructive things to do with yourself. That's to be admired. So I'm hoping that this definition changes. I'm hoping that there's a shift of consciousness that happens. And until then, I'm enjoying my singlehood. I don't subscribe to this world and its beliefs anyway, because this world is crooked and twisted. It's warped. As the scriptures say, it's a crooked and twisted generation where right is wrong and wrong is right. Please, this world don't know anything. So in the Bible and the scriptures, it says singleness is a gift. And if you can maintain that gift, by all means. So I encourage everybody to really value their singlehood, and you can enjoy relationships, but do not let them define you. Do not let them define your character. And that's essential. That's essential to understand. So this has been Lewis Speaks, wishing everybody a wonderfully successful 2020. And I hope everybody is energized and ready to do some amazing work, because we got work to do. So let's get it done.